YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Keezy, and Easy Being Keezy, and in today's video, we're going to talk about streetwear, street fashion, high-end luxury fashion, or just fashion in general, and why it may or may not actually die. I know I'm capping just a little bit, and maybe Virgil was capping on his statement before too, but our current state of our epidemic, pandemic, whatever word you want to use, it's getting kind of crazy out there, and we're going to talk about it. So let's get it. Okay, this might not be some like crazy professional video because I'm going to use my phone and I got my notes here as to some of the bullet points that I want to use for this video. And we're going to go through this quick. So the first thing I wrote up is everyone is holding on to their money. Majority of people in the US, they don't got an income. Even the government is even talking about cutting people checks and all this other kind of stuff. In reality, if that actually happens, as taxpayers, we're going to have to end up paying that back in our taxes probably later on. So our taxes are probably going to go back up if the economy or when the economy ends up going back in an uprise. We don't know. So a lot of people don't have income. So a lot of people just aren't spending their money. I've even noticed online there's a lot more websites that are clothing websites that have more discounts at the moment because they know that sales have dipped. People are just, I mean, basically the economy had just basically come to a halt. And people don't have enough money to maybe even support themselves, let alone go out there and buy clothing or fashion. So at the moment, it's at the halt. But trust me, when this thing unfolds, and let's just say they do find a vaccine, I still don't think people are going to like automatically start buying things the same way that they were buying it prior to all of this happening. There's gonna be a scare before that buy. Even for myself, like I'm not buying like the normal things I buy on Amazon throughout the month as of right now. I just haven't even been spending a dime. The only thing I spent money on was like matcha. Don't do that. I shouldn't be doing that. Anyways, next point. All right, the next point I wrote down, I'm just gonna read it verbatim. There will be less of a blend between luxury fashion and streetwear financially. Also, high-end stores and retail spaces are going to take the biggest hit if they don't adopt to being online. I wrote that because there are plenty of street fashion and or streetwear, high-end fashion too, businesses that don't even do things online. I know that sounds very barbaric, but a lot of them believe that the personal touch of coming into the store, experiencing fabrics and touching things and trying them on is way better than buying it online, and arguably that could be very true. Even for something as simple as a consignment store like Round 2, I think even as of today, Round 2 doesn't have an online website. I probably will get chopped in the comments if I'm wrong on that, but last time I heard a podcast with Sean Witherspoon, he talked about how he just kind of despises online presence. He just wants to do everything in store. And if people are too scared to walk into a store to buy something, then those businesses are going to get hit first. Actually, not even in clothing. Let's not even talk about even outside of clothing. Your local coffee shop, you know what I'm saying? Your local tailor, your local whatever small businesses out there is going to get hit. But more importantly, in fashion, yes, those stores, they're going to take, I mean, the bills keep coming, but they ain't got people buying the product. So what are you going to do? You know, and if this thing gets prolonged, let's just say, you know, out here in the West Coast, they're talking about April 7th. But if they prolong it the way it's looking right now, if they do another month, let's just say they do another month after that, or maybe we have to reconvene and do another month after that, people are going to be so confused as to what to do, and it's going to be hard for people to get back into their regular regimen or their regular routine in order for them to spend money to kind of make this economy flow a little bit better. So, but again, these businesses, these small businesses, they're going to take a hit. They're going to take a hit. So let's move on to the next topic. All right, the next topic I got up is definitely something that other people aren't going to talk about on their channel, and that's the rep community. All right, rep community. If you don't know what that means, it's the replica community. Yes, and I only wrote that down because I have a lot more to say about this. So, the way I see sneaker releases, streetwear releases, even high-end luxury fashion sneaker releases or clothing releases too, as we know, the rep community is huge. The rep community now on Reddit, the rep community page, our rep sneakers or whatever, that community is like it's like 250,000 people or more than that, maybe even more. I don't know. It's a big community of people that buy reps. They specifically buy reps. But the minute this whole pandemic had started, that community was the first to get smacked. I'm talking about, you didn't see any posts on Instagram of these rep, you know, community pages. You really didn't see any fake versus reels on YouTube. You didn't see a lot of these other rep, you know, YouTube accounts just posting stuff, period. It was a big slowdown. Why? Because the factories in China that happened to make the product 3-4 weeks to a month before the actual retail pair releases came to a halt and they stopped shipping their stuff. So therefore, the back end of the people making the YouTube content and the Instagram stuff, they came to a halt too. And then now everybody else is getting smacked right now too. Everybody getting smacked. It's not only just the rep community, but again, they were the first to get hit. And like that was the ripple effect, right? And even right now, you're not gonna see a lot of those rep community pages and the whatever's going crazy right now because they can't. They are reliant on China. And that actually brings me into my next point when we talk about manufacturing and all those things, which also is in combination with so many other different topics of racism and also being prejudiced and stuff like that, because there's a lot of hate and there's a lot of prejudice towards China right now. And I'm not going to say I don't blame these people, but I can see how the ignorance is built up. But before I digress into that, China is a huge country, landmass, and also a huge country that most people get everything made there. Almost damn near 70%, 60% of the world's products are produced in China. And if China is at a halt, the whole world, including within fashion, is also going to become at a halt, which in turn will create higher prices in a majority of things that we buy. That's just fact, and it's going to suck really bad. Anyways, my point is that although people are being prejudiced, although people are being super ignorant about Chinese people and China, you can say whatever you want. Okay, you can say whatever you want about China, but if you really hate China that bad, then don't use like half of the products that are in your house right now, okay? For Christ's sakes, the Bay Bridge in San Francisco is built by the Chinese. I'm not even kidding you. The iron or whatever steel they used to build the bridge, the steel comes from China. We're not even talking about clothes anymore. We're talking about the Bay Bridge that connects from the East Bay to the West Bay. Like, come on, man. Like, let's not even play about that. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to clothing too, a lot of high-end luxury fashion companies, whether you think they do or not, use Chinese manufacturing, right? Even and especially the low-end, tier-end streetwear brands. And that is another topic that I wanted to talk about, is that I think and I predict that right now 2020 might not be a great time to start a streetwear brand. It might not be. And also when I talk about low-end tier streetwear brands, I'm talking about the people that, like, you know, when they text you on Instagram or Twitter and they're like, hey, check out my collection, and it's like a jacket, you know, three t-shirts and a hat. Like, those are lower tier brand names to me. They don't have a storefront. They hustle everything online, on Instagram, maybe even through like PayPal and stuff like that. Like, those type of brands are going to take a real hit. I'm talking about a hit. And when it comes to the creativity that comes out of these smaller brands that eventually influence larger brands to kind of design the way that they do as well, that connect is not going to be there, because if the smaller brands suffer, the bigger brands will suffer too. Anyways, I think you get the point. When it comes to China, I don't think that it's going to go back to what we think it's going to go back to. That's what I'm saying now. But anyways, let's move on to the next point. All right, the next topic we got up that I kind of touched up on and not really, but is that YouTube content is going to change because of this economic shift, because of this shift in fashion, and this whole like hype beast Instagram, whatever, like, and making YouTube videos of like pure channels of just purely pickup videos and stuff. If those type of content creators start to suffer from this economic whatever we're going through right now and or pandemic, a lot of stuff is not open. There's going to be a lot less of those type of videos. Basically, YouTubers, content creators, maybe not Instagram, but content creators on YouTube, like the ones that shoot their videos in spaces like this, they can just talk to the camera all day, I think will probably do fine. But the ones that rely on buying products in order to show you those products, there's either going to be a delay and or you're just going to see less of that content, and those content creators are going to have to evolve with the times, and if they don't, then they're kind of left behind. I mean, if you even look at the Dior Jordans, those are delayed. We had a couple other Jordan 4s that are being delayed. I think a pair of 6s or 8s or something like that are being delayed. If Nike and Adidas right now is delaying everything, just best believe majority of all other retailers are going to be delaying everything. And in addition to that conversation, I don't want to rant too much, but the retail space is going to take a hit. A lot of people were already shopping online. A lot of people weren't going in store to buy stuff. And these luxury brands, that my biggest pet peeve was that if you go into like a Balenciaga store, literally the items are no different than buying it online because it's the same exact items. They don't even create anything that's exclusive for in-store walk-ins. So why even go into the store? right? So I think their marketing campaign as a high-end luxury fashion house compared to buying things online was already shit. It was already shit. I have to say it that way. There's really no other way to say it. You know, there's nothing enticing me to go into the store. So why would I go in the first place? And now we got a pandemic going on. I for sure am not showing up. I'm gonna be laying in bed and I'm gonna be on my phone and I'm gonna look at some clothes. Like, that's how it already has been going. And now this is just gonna solidify and put the nail in the coffin for that topic. It's unfortunate, but that's what it is. You know, I ranted a little bit. Let's move on. Okay, the last point I have might be a little bit of a repeat, but I'm gonna try my best. So I predict that the pricing on things are gonna go up. So once the economy is taking a dip as we know it, it's already in the shits as we know it. If we try to boost back and come back, I'm not, you know, I didn't major in economics, but I can tell you right now, things are gonna be expensive. Maybe the gas prices is going down right now because not a lot of people are outside, so they lower the prices. But once everybody back on they, you know, whatever, brands and companies are they're just gonna try to get back. They're gonna try to get back what they lost. So those prices that you see at high-end luxury fashion houses, Balenciaga charging $1,000 for sneakers, that could even go higher. That can go $1,200, $1,300, $1,500 for a pair of sneakers. You know what I'm saying? Maybe even Nike, the Jordan 1s might even be more. I mean, those increase over the years anyway. So anyways, you get the point. It's this circle of a cluster of confusing economic things that might go on. Yes, the economy might rise back if we get a vaccine, but at the same time, just because you got that vaccine, people out, these companies, they want their chips. You know what I mean? They want it. And I don't blame them. If I was a company too and I took a loss for a couple months, you know, 3-4 months, whatever, and I didn't have an income, but I still got to pay rent on my place, hey, you best believe you come in the door, I'm trying to make my chips back, baby, especially if I'm not on my feet. You know what I mean? So anyways, again, people are scared to spend their money at the moment, but I think the most important thing, much like what the casual had already said on his channel, is to be safe. You know what I'm saying? Be safe. Make sure you go out with your mask, have the proper mask on. This is nothing to play with. And especially if you're young, I mean, if you're young right now and you're not worried about it, you shouldn't be worried about yourself, and you should be worried about other people and even the economy. The people that are really kind of stirring up this whole thing even worse than it is are the young people. I'm just saying, you know, as much as I'm not trying to scare anybody that's on my channel right now, that's what it is. You know, the young people like myself, we have a better immune system. Like, if I end up catching this, I can shake it off. It's like a little fever, maybe even short of breath, whatever, but you get the right medicine in you and you get the right, you know, foods in your system, I'm gonna be okay. But I can still be contagious and I can still carry it for other people. I can leave it on door handles and stuff like that. And for the elderly, I'm not gonna say it's a death sentence because some of them have survived, but a majority of the people that's passing right now, they're older. You know what I'm saying? So it's really not that good. You know what I mean? So anyways, I just had to say that and get it off my chest, because if you're not feeling the economy now, you're gonna feel the economy later. I don't think I've ever lived through anything like this where the economy just like boom is like a halt. The only thing I went through younger and not really knowing everything about the economy was in 2009. You know, we went through a recession. It wasn't a depression. We went through a recession. A lot of people weren't buying things, but the economy picked back up. I think it was like 2011, 12, 13, around there, maybe even farther out. It took some years. So again, just remember, clothing is not necessarily a necessity. It's a want, not a need. And people are not really ready to spend at the moment. So it is what it is. Anyways, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Did I leave out anything? I'm sure I did. And I would love to converse and talk about these topics if we can. So anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys and girls keep it locked right here for all your latest information from clothing, music to culture. It is your boy. See you next time. Peace.
You want to do, and it's just gonna take a minute, but it's gonna work out. Like if you try to cut corners and you put costumes on to do shit, yeah, you gonna get straight, but at what cost? You know what I'm saying? And how you feel when you do this shit for you, 100% for you. You could grind and stay up for 5 or 6 days and not really be tired because it's for you.